Hare Krishna. This
Hare
morning,
Krishna Maharaj, Dandot Pranam or worship Srila Prabhupada.
please accept my humble obeisance, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This morning is the appearance day of Gadadhar Pandit. So I will first speak a few minutes about Gadadhar Pandit, and then we will start the class on the verse 4:11:23. Gadadhar Pandit, that he could not be without Lord Chaitanya even for a moment. He appeared 1 year after the appearance of Lord Chaitanya, that in their childhood they were inseparable childhood playmates. The Gadadhar Pandit was by nature peaceful. He was renounced, serious, self-composed, and he was fond of solitude, like to be alone. As a contrast with Lord Chaitanya, Nimai, who was fickle, unsteady, whimsical, that Kavikarnakpuri Pura, he states that Gadadhar Pandit in Vraja Lila is the daughter of King Vrishabhanu, Srimati Radharani. So Gadadhar Pandit is considered the chief assistant of Lord Chaitanya in his pastimes in Navadvip. So no one can describe the characteristics and ecstatic love of Gadadhar Pandit. Also Gadadhar Pandit, he joined Lord Chaitanya in Jagannath Puri. So there are many pastimes, but we cannot go into that. But after the disappearance of Lord Chaitanya, the Gadadhar Pandit took care of even before the Tota Gopinath deity, that in Jagannath Puri, after the disappearance of Lord Chaitanya, Gadadhar Pandit wanted to leave this world. He took not really care of his body, and it is said he became quickly old, and moving was difficult, and but he was serving every day the Tota Gopinath deity with great love, but he couldn't stretch his arms anymore to offer a garland to his deity. And Tota Gopinath, the deity, understood it and sat down to facilitate Gadadhar's loving service, and so this Tota Gopinath you can see in Jagannath Puri. It's the only sitting deity of Krishna. So Gadadhar Pandit, he was also fond of reciting the Bhagavatam, and he would recite the Bhagavatam for Lord Chaitanya with so much love that tears came out of his eyes, and all the tears dropped of the Bhagavatam copy, and soon it was not readable anymore. So Gadadhar Pandit, it is said, it's in one of the Puranas, that once Krishna decided to go to the material world to appear as Lord Chaitanya, that because Lord Krishna had a desire to feel the love from of Srimati Radharani for him, so he would appear in the mood of Srimati Radharani. And Srimati Radharani knew this and said to Krishna, yes, okay, you are going to appear in my mood, but I want to see how you play that role. And therefore, Srimati Radharani appeared as Gadadhar Pandit. But Gadadhar Pandit feels a little empty because the mood of Srimati Radharani is in Lord Chaitanya. So this is the glorious day of Gadadhar Pandit. We can pray to Gadadhar Pandit today for his mercy. The mercy of Srimati Radharani. Without the mercy of Srimati Radharani, we cannot get the mercy of Krishna. That the spiritual master is a representative of that mercy of Srimati Radharani. Now we will read Srimad Bhagavatam, the 4th canto, chapter 11, Svayambhuva Manu advises Dhruva Maharaj stop fighting. Text 23. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Cheva Narottanam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jamudirayat Nastravesya Bhadrasu Nityam Bhagavata Sevya Bhagavati Uttamastuke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki Avyaktasya Prameyasya Nana Saktudayasya Cha Navai Shikir Sitam Tata Ko Vedata Svasambhavam. Word for word translation. Avyaktasya, of the unmanifested. Aprameyasya, of the transcendence. Nana, various. Shakti, energies. Udayasya, of him who gives rise to. Cha, also. Na, never. Vai, certainly. Shikir Shitam, the plan. Tata, my dear boy. Kaha, who, Veda, can know. Atta, therefore. Sva, own. Sambhavan, origin. Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. The absolute true transcendent is never subject to the understanding of imperfect sensory endeavor, nor is he subject to direct experience. He is the master of varieties of energies like the full material energy, and no one can understand his plans or actions. Therefore, it should be concluded that although he is the original cause of all causes, no one can know him by mental speculation. Purport. The question may be raised since there are so many varieties of philosophers theorizing in different ways. Which of them is correct? The answer is that the absolute truth, transcendence, is never subject to direct experience of mental speculation. The mental speculator may be called Dr. Frog. The story is that a frog in a 3-foot well wanted to calculate the length and breadth of the Atlantic Ocean on the basis of his knowledge of his own well. But it was an impossible task for Dr. Frog. A person may be a great academician, scholar, or professor, but he cannot speculate and expect to understand the absolute truth, for his senses are limited. The cause of all causes, the absolute truth, can be known from the absolute truth himself, and not by our ascending process to reach him. When the sun is not visible at night, or when it is covered by a cloud in the day, it is not possible to uncover it, either by bodily or mental strength, or by specific instruments, although the sun is there in the sky. No one can say that he has discovered a torchlight so powerful that if one goes on a roof and focuses the torchlight on the night sky, the sun will be seen. There is no such torchlight, nor is it possible. The word avyakta, unmanifested, in this verse indicates that the absolute truth cannot be manifested by any strain of so-called scientific advancement of knowledge. Transcendence is not a subject matter of direct experience. The absolute truth may be known in the same way as the sun covered by cloud or covered by night, for when the sun rises in the morning in its own way, then everyone can see the sun, everyone can see the world, and everyone can see him. This understanding of self-realization is called Atma Tattva, unless, however, one comes to this point of understanding Atma Tattva, one remains in the darkness in which he was born. Under the circumstances, no one can understand the plan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord is equipped with varieties of energies, as stated in the Vedic literature. Parasya Sakti Vivideva Shrutyate, Madhya Lila 13.6.5 purport. He is equipped with the energy of eternal time. Not only does he have the material energy which we see and experience, but he has also many reserve energies that he can manifest in due course of time when necessary. The material scientist can simply study the partial understanding of the varieties of energies. He can take up one of the energies and try to understand it with full limited knowledge. But still it is not possible to understand the absolute truth in full by dint of material science. No material scientist can foretell what is going to happen in the future. The Bhakti Yoga process, however, is completely different from so-called scientific advancement of knowledge. A devotee completely surrenders unto the Supreme Lord, who reveals himself by his causeless mercy, as stated in Bhagavad Gita. Dadami buddhi yogam tam. The Lord says, I give him intelligence What is that intelligence? Yena mamrupayantite. The Lord gives one intelligence to cross over the ocean of nations and come back home, back to God. And in conclusion, the cause of all causes, the absolute truth, or the supreme Brahman, cannot be understood by philosophical speculation, but he reveals himself to his devotee because the devotee fully surrenders unto his lotus feet. Bhagavad Gita is therefore to be accepted as a revealed scripture spoken by the Absolute Truth himself when he descended to this planet. If any intelligent man wants to know what God is, he should study this transcendental literature under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. Then it is very easy to understand Krishna as he is. Read the verse again. Avyaktasya prameyasya nanasaktu dayasya ja navaisikir sitam tata ko vedata svasambhavam. The absolute truth, transcendence, is never subject to the understanding of imperfect sensory endeavor, nor is he subject to direct experience. He is a master of varieties of energies, like the full material energy, and no one can understand his plans or actions. Therefore, it should be concluded that although he is the original cause of all causes, no one can know him by mental speculation. Omajnanatimandasya jananjana shanaka Shakshun militam yena tasmai shikove namah. Shitchetayamanopistam staptam yena bhutaleshvam rupakadamyam dadati svapadantikam. Vandeham shigo shiyuda padakamanam Shigum Vaishnavam Sham Shirupam Jagajatam Saganaragnatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parjana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shirada Krishna Padam Saganalita Shivashakam Vitam Sha. He Krishna Karuna Sinudina Bandhu Jatpate Gopesha Gopakanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sudadeve Pranamama Haripriya. Vancha Kalpta Vishake Pasinabhe Vishapatnam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namah. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Ji Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paskachai Desatarine Srila Prabhupada Ki. So this verse deals with what we called in religious study epistemology or hermeneutics. How do we get knowledge? And here, how do we get transcendental knowledge? That Prabhupada makes it very clear in the purport. No one can know him by mental speculation. In the Bhagavad Gita, in the 11th chapter, the universal form, at the end, when Krishna shows Arjuna again his beautiful two-armed form, Lord Krishna says to Arjuna that one can know me as I'm standing before you only by Ananya Bhakti, by pure devotional service. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, one cannot even begin to understand Krishna if one does not take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. That's so first we take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. The spiritual master engages us in devotional service, and then the transformation happens. We get transcendental knowledge. How that happens is explained by Srila Prabhupada in the purport, referring to the Bhagavad Gita, verses 10.10 and 10.11, that there you have Tesham satata yuktanam bhajtam pritavavakam dadami buddhiyogam tam yena mam upayantite. Krishna says, if you serve me with a little love, then by serving with a little love, the Dhammi I give you, Buddhi Yoga, self-realized knowledge. This knowledge we have already, but it's covered now. It's covered by the modes of nature. Therefore Krishna says in the next verse in Bhagavad Gita, Tesham evanakam pratam mahyanacham tama nasachamat nabhavat sto jnanati penna bhashvata. He says, yes, that I enter the heart of my devotee who serves me with love, and I remove the ignorance, the covering, and then the devotee gets realization. And that's how we get knowledge. But one must take shelter of a spiritual master first. Because Krishna says, Priti Purvakam, serve you with a little love. But in the conditioned stage, we don't have love. What we take for love is lust. Therefore, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj, he explains in one of the first chapters of the Adi Lila, he spent 100 verses explaining the difference between love and lust. Lust means that one tries to satisfy the senses of one's body and one's mind. But love means trying to please the transcendental senses of the Supreme Lord. That's the difference. So, in the conditioned state, we don't have that prema yet, this love, even not a little. But Krishna makes a concession, he says, yes, that vidipane partner pari prashna sevya upadaksanti tekyam ghanas tat vadakshana. You approach a spiritual master, inquire for him, serve him submissively. And when you do that, Krishna says, then in the next verse, Ghat Ghatvana Punarmam Evan Yasyasi Pandava Yena Bhutani Ashashani Dakshasyatma Turatomai. Then, Krishna says, then one starts to see that everything in this world is in me and is connected me and is mine. So you start to see Krishna in this world everywhere. That Vidya Vinaya Sampane Brahmana Kavyashtini Sunishev Sapandus Sunishev Sa Pandita Samadakshina. So Vidya Vinaya Sampane Brahmana Kavyashtini Sunishev Sapakitsa Pandita Samadakshina. This one starts to see Krishna in everyone's heart, because that is the realization of transcendental knowledge. But it starts with knowledge of Krishna. Unless one knows Krishna, one cannot understand Atma Tattva, one's own position. So understanding self-realization depends on first knowing who Krishna is. This is, in summary, what is explained here in this purport. How to get knowledge. And Srila Prabhupada quotes Mr. Frog with his 2 feet well, trying to understand the vastness of the ocean. He thinks, oh, maybe it's 2 times bigger than my well, it's 10 times bigger. But he never comes to the right conclusion. He has never seen the ocean. It is useless, because our method is not logic. With the logic of this world, we cannot understand Krishna, because Krishna is translogical. Krishna is translogical. It's in Shirsa Upanishad, also in Bhagavad Gita. He's far away and he's close by at the same time. That's not logic. It's beyond the laws of logic. It's beyond the laws of this material world. We cannot understand. Our brain is material. With the material brain, you cannot understand spiritual subject matters. Spiritual realization, spiritual knowledge is given to the heart. In the heart is the super soul, and the super soul gives you this knowledge. That's what Prabhupada says in the purport of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna consciousness means following the dictations of Krishna within. But these dictations are found in Bhagavad Gita. If one studies Bhagavad Gita from Prabhupada or from the bona fide spiritual master, one gets the same instructions. But our method is not mental speculation, not philosophical speculation, whatever kind of speculation. Because mental speculation is mental, the mind is also a material product. With these material products, we cannot understand transcendence. So it's understood to the heart, like Brahma got it to the heart. Tini Brahma Hridaya Adikavaye. He got the knowledge, the Vedas, to the heart. So we also can get the knowledge to the heart, that Krishna gives us realizations. So it's completely different. That our method is we get it to the heart, or we get it from Sabda Brahman, transcendental sound vibration, like Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. So from hearing this transcendental sound vibration, and receive it from a spiritual master, Godly, we come to understand things as they are. We come to understand things as they are. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada speaks also about energies. That Krishna is his various energies. In the material energies, the 3 modes, tamas, ignorance, rajas, passion, goodness, is the sattva. But you have also spiritual energies. 3 main spiritual energies, you have more of them. We have Sandini, Sattvit, and Ladini. Sandini means eternal. That's already a point, eternal. We cannot understand eternality in this world because everything is temporary. We don't have that experience. But we ourselves are eternal. That's good news. Samvit is knowledge, realized knowledge, spiritual knowledge. And Ladini is devotion, love. This devotion is presented by, is embodied by Srimati Radharani and Gadadhar Pandit. And you need that devotion to go to the spiritual world. Without that devotion, you cannot enter. Therefore, Krishna says, give up all these other yoga systems because you get only intermediate steps towards devotion. It's not the goal. Better to take the direct path, bhakti. And to this bhakti, Krishna, the Dhammi Buddhi Yogam Tam, gives us realization, and that's how we get transcendental knowledge. It's by revelation, that not by trying to understand with your intelligence. Also, although logic has a supporting role in understanding, but real understanding comes to the heart. Thank you very much. So, any comments or questions?
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Isn't it wonderful? Maharaj, could you please kindly, so we know that today is also the appearance day of Gadadhar Pandit. And so how do you understand when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left, Gadadhar Pandit Prabhu completely became weakened, and then so how Gadadhar Pandit Prabhu departed from this world? Was there any description? I couldn't see that.
Yeah, it's departure that I don't know how he departed, but it seems to have departed in Jagannath Puri at the Tota Gopinath temple. It is said, according to some authorities, a short time after Lord Chaitanya's disappearance, Sri Gadadhar Pandit joined his eternal pastimes by entering his beloved deity of Tota Gopinath.
So Gadadhar Pandit also entered the deity of Tota Gopinath.
That is said here, yes.
Okay.
That because, of course, Lord Chaitanya entered.
Indeed,
He entered also, they say, because Lord Chaitanya is Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha, Krishna, Nai Anga. Is Radha and Krishna together. So in that sense, Gadadhar Pandit also entered. But it said here, he entered his beloved deity, Tota Gopinath.
So where it is mentioned, Maharaj? It's in Chaitanya Charitamrita?
I'm reading this from the Samadhi book. You know the Samadhi book?
Samadhi book, okay.
That it's Bhakti Vikashma. No, it was Mainidi Swami wrote this. Wrote that book. And at the end of that Samadhi book you find the biographies, a summary of all great associates of Lord Chaitanya. They are all there.
Oh.
There are also other scriptures where this is mentioned, but yeah. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you so much.
Good.
Anybody else has any other comments, questions, reflections?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Maharaja, thank you for a wonderful class. I had a quick question. I've always wondered about this, why is there no fasting for Gadadhar Panditji, like till noon, or is that any specific reason? Because usually we have fasting till noon for important personalities.
Yeah. It seems when I joined in the 90s, it was a fasting day. I don't know, did that change? That it's not in the calendar anymore.
Okay.
But yeah, it's certainly good to fast that day. That because it's Gadadhar Pandit is Srimad Radharani, so on Radhastami we also fast.
That's what I wonder. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Good. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Jai Prabhupada.
Yeah, Prabhupada. Thank you so much.
Franka Kalptarusha.
Krupasya Krupa Sindhu Bhyavacha
Patnam
Pavadidana
Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo
Vaishnavyo
Namah.
Namo
Srila
Namah
Prabhupada ki jai.
Ki Jai.
Jai.
Thank you, Maharaj.